Welcome everyone. This is Bōde's Edmonton real estate market update for August 2022. This video is going to quickly show you what's happening in the Edmonton property market at a macro level, and then I'm going to show you where you can find all of the data to keep an eye on the trends in your community and property type on Bōde.ca. But first, what's Bōde? For those of you that don't know, Bōde's a tech company that allows people to buy and sell their own home without a realtor. We make it easier and more convenient than ever before, and we also save you a lot of money. So let's dive in. What's happening in Edmonton? So first we're going to take a look at new listings, and this shows you the number of new listings to come to market in the greater Edmonton area each month for the last 4.5 years. And you can see that typically it follows the same trend over the course of the year. The bright pink line shows you 2022, where in the first half of the year there's typically been more listings coming to market than there would normally be. That's starting to drop back down closer to normal, up 10% versus the average of the last 4 Julys, but starting to get closer to the average. So lots of new listings still coming on. In the sales front, a similar story. First half of the year, the number of sales was up dramatically, much more so than listings. So you can see here in March and April and May, huge numbers of sales versus historical norms. The bright pink line just way higher than the other lines on this chart. But that's started to drop off in the last few months, and you can see in July, sales have dropped back to pretty much average. So right back to what would be normal for this time of year. And actually, sales have been lower than the same month in 2021 and in 2020. So lower than the last 2 years, but about average above the 2 previous years. So what does that mean for overall inventory? Well, earlier in the year, there had been a big lack of inventory, but that's starting to shift back now. So the bright pink line, you can see the total number of homes for sale starting to come back towards historical norms. So now we're back to higher levels of inventory than we had this time last year or the year before, but still lower than the average of the previous years. But inventory starting to come back, and that means for months of supply, which shows us supply and demand in both in one metric. This is telling us, given the number of homes for sale and how fast they're selling, how many months would it take to sell through all of the inventory that's currently for sale. And you can see that the bright pink line is coming back upwards quickly here. So it had been below 2 months. We're now above 4 months. That's put us back into more of a balanced market after having seen a seller's market for the last 6 months or more. So back to a more balanced market. It's good news for buyers, not as good news for sellers. But I think we're going to continue to see this trend moving upwards here in Edmonton for the next few months. Finally, home prices. This chart shows you what's happened to Edmonton home prices over the last 17 years. Obviously in 2022, and prices had been going up quite quickly. That started to slow and even decline now. So over the last month, prices were down 1.4%, but they're still up versus last year. So overall up 6.8% versus this time last year. I'd say the same trend's likely to continue for the next couple of months here. We're probably going to see month-on-month declines, but still gains from the last year thanks to the quick run-up in prices earlier in 2022. If you want to check out all of the data to keep an eye on what your home's worth, we've got 3 great tools for you on Bōde.ca. So the first one's market data, and here's where you can see the same supply and demand and price trends that we just looked at for the overall Edmonton market, but you can see those for your specific neighborhood. That's at market data. Our sold data page shows you the sold price of any home that's sold in Alberta over the last 11 years. So if you want to find out what your neighbor's home sold for, go to that page. Finally, we've got a page called Comparables, and this is where you can enter 8 features of your home or any home that you're interested in, and you'll see the most similar live listings or the most similar sold listings to give you a really good feel of what your home is worth in the current market. So check all of that out at Bōde.ca, and if you'd like to keep seeing these videos in your feed, make sure to subscribe, and any questions, please leave a comment in the comments below. Thanks very much.